Look at this doofus. What is he so happy about? He's got a plan. That's what he's got. He's going somewhere. He's going to a place that he's not been for a long time. That's why he's got that goofy ass smile on his face. We are going to Forbidden Planet in London, a place that I have not been for over 2 years, the mecca of action figures, comic books, and, well, pretty much everything geek culture related. This is my home away from home, folks, and it's responsible for taking a lot of money out of my wallet. But this is a trip where I'm going to try and be a little bit more frugal. I was going to say fastidious, but that's not the right word. So I'm going to take you through this little tour of Forbidden Planet and all the goodness that lies inside. And I'll show you what a weaker Dave, a lesser evolved Dave, would have purchased on his way out, because there were some gems over here. So we're going to kick things off, as well we should do, with the Marvel section, and lo and behold, the very first thing I see is something that I desperately want to take home with me. This little pewter metallic Scarlet Spider. And I'm not a Ben Reilly completionist, but it's real difficult to put back anything that is Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider, Sensational Spider-Man related. Anything Clone Saga adjacent really has a good chance of getting my money. And all those pewter little minis, they look cute. Although there is a scale, there's a ratio of mini. This is too small. This is just like, what am I going to do with this? You know what those are? Clutter. And I got no room in my life for clutter. But you want to get a little bargain? $25, well, $26 for this man thing. And it still sounds funny to say. $25. You can take your own man thing home. But that's a real good price for, I think, one of the best Marvel Legends of the last couple of years. Then we got the McFarlane statues, and I hadn't seen those in person, so that was kind of cool to see. Folks, it's time to take a quick pause for the cause while I tell you all about this episode's sponsor, FlexiSpot. The FlexiSpot office chair offers an exceptional combination of comfort, ergonomic support, and adjustable features to enhance your workspace experience. Now, you know me. I'm a crazy content-making machine, so I spend most of my waking days sat at my desk, and I need a chair that's going to keep me comfortable and also, at the lanky 6'3" that I am, keep my frame and my back in alignment and healthy. And that's what this chair does. So I am so happy to be sponsored by FlexiSpot, because they're making products that I really do use myself on a daily basis. Its adjustable height allows you to customize the fit, while lumbar support ensures proper spinal alignment. The breathable mesh fabric keeps you cool and comfortable during long work sessions, and you know I can be doing these videos long into the night. Whether working from home or at the office, you would do well to upgrade to the FlexiSpot office chair and boost your productivity and support your overall well-being. Thank you, FlexiSpot, for sending this chair my way. It has been an absolute game changer. Right now, they're doing some excellent offers, so you can get a great deal on your new purchase. If you want to go check out everything that they have to offer, you can click the link in the description below. Elevate your work experience today with FlexiSpot, where innovation meets comfort. And a couple of Brave New World figures. MCU. That don't do nothing for me. And then the Spider-Man retro wave with a whole bunch of Clone Saga Kanes on the shelf, which is great because he's not peg warming. Obviously they knew what the demand would be and just made sure they got plenty in there. And then the one figure from the Secret Wars wave that I would have been tempted to get, of course it's Titania. Because who doesn't want a jacked up muscle mummy on their shelf? And there's not that many characters that fit that description in Marvel Legends, so I was a little tempted. And also, I just wanted to give a little shout out to the Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Verse, because even though it's a weird, highly stylized design, it is kind of cool. Just annoying that it took two different versions to give us, like, the ultimate one. Couldn't just do that the first time round, could ya? Then the Nemesis wave, which I ordered ages ago. And I'm still waiting to get the whole wave, but they're coming out in dribs and drabs, unfortunately. But this Wolverine, genuinely, I think is great. And I'm not a big alternate costume, gotta have every Wolverine kind of person, but I like that one. And Crystar, for a bargain price of £12. This was one of those ones, again, an older Dave would have totally taken it home. Do I know Crystar? No. But it's £12, so I'd be crazy not to buy it. This McFarlane statue, I wasn't too impressed with though. It just feels a bit small, like not really much, and for 35 quid, nah. But Venom here, this was the second piece, along with this little Scarlet Spider pewter thing that I would have been tempted to have bought. 35 bucks, perfectly recreating the McFarlane front cover from Amazing Spider-Man. I've seen some people post on the Model Behaviour Facebook group that Venom with the Spider-Man, Maximum Spider-Man underneath him recreating the comic cover. It looks sick. I love that. I really do. Going over to some random D&D stuff now. I love the Mimic chest. Just the gimmick with the huge big gnashing teeth. So glad I've got the action figure of that. And these Street Fighter. The newest wave hasn't dropped here yet, so no Blanca or Sagat, but man, the boxes. The boxes are so gorgeous. It pained me to throw them away. It really did, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And the protective cover from D&D, that's really cool. I'd love that for my mug. I mean, I wouldn't. I love the way it looks, but I wouldn't want to be drinking that from that every single day. You know, that would get a little bit much after a while. Bimmy and Jimmy from Double Dragon. I forget the makers. I didn't check the manufacturer because it looks kind of like Super 7, but I don't think it is Super 7. I reported on these on Good News months ago. It's kind of cool. You see the passage of time. I remember reporting on things that were in development, and then sometimes years later, you're picking them up in store, and it's like, wow, where does the time go, man? It's scary. It's real scary. And the McFarlane Warhammer stuff, it's kind of a sleeper hit. I think the Warhammer stuff from McFarlane, because they're good. I have less kind of gripes about like the Space Marines and stuff, because McFarlane always nails it with their armor and their monsters and mechs. Speaking of McFarlane, they've got the whole McFarlane DC section here. And this Dark Knight Returns 3-pack, I actually really love, because it's so hyper stylized and very much just in the Batman the Animated Series look, which I dig. I like seeing things done in that style that obviously we never saw in the cartoon itself. And this amalgam Gestalt Justice League character, I got no idea. I got no idea what it is, but I also kind of love it. Kind of like the Batman of Zen-Ra. I don't really know the story. I've got no affinity. I just love the bright, crazy, wacky design. You know, why buy all of the Justice League when you can just buy one figure that has all of them? The Hugo Strange, I noticed, for the rubber mask, I thought you could put that with the Marvel Legends Chameleon. So you have a couple of masks to wear, or hold in his hand. Don't know who Viking Lady is. I mean, is it a Wonder Woman character? Looks Wonder Woman-ish. But it's very dangerous of Todd to make female characters, because doesn't that turn people into serial killers, Todd? Yeah, I know he said that years ago and it was a joke, but I'm still going to run it into the ground. As well we should. Internet, never going to let you forget anything you say. And McFarlane, people say that it's just Batman, but the fact that he's given us characters like Clock King, I mean, credit where it's due. Are we going to get this kind of variety from Mattel? I hope so, but time will tell. Time will Mattel. This is why I can't crack 50,000 subscribers. It's because of stuff like this, Dave. But hey, I am excited to see what Mattel do with the DC license. As long as they're not like hamstrung with international shipping and stuff. It's interesting to see where the toy industry is going to go over the next few years. Hopefully, we're all going to be able to get our plastic action figures in due course without too many financial burdens put on us. This bunny ear Iron Man, Batman suit that Jim Gordon wore, I thought it looked dumb. Until I saw it in this 2-pack. And I was a little more impressed, because it's quite big. It's quite chunky and chonkified, and I've got to admit, I was a little bit impressed with that. Now, going across to this Bane 2-pack, I had this love-hate relationship with this Bane figure. I love the style of it, the sculpting, the look, but he's just that teeny tiny weeny, a little bit too big for my personal aesthetic taste. I still don't have the perfect Bane, I don't think. The Mafex is great, but I don't know. I think we can do better. Now look, this is a real weird one for me, okay? It's a Funko Pop, which we can all agree are the worst. But this Cyborg Superman little presentation pack, I kinda like it. And I hate myself for liking a Funko Pop, but it's cool. Speaking of cool, Todd's Mods. The first time I've seen these weird, hyper-stylized characters, and the first thing that struck me was they're a lot smaller than I was expecting. I know that when I reported on them, I said like, oh, they're 5 inches, but you don't really appreciate the size of that until you see them. But then once I did, I kind of like them even more because they've crammed so much detail down into this small little squat chibi kind of frame, and I do rather dig it. I don't know why they went for the grey face, the grey skin on Batman, but hey, it's an aesthetic choice. But yeah, there's something just kind of weird about them. It's just weird enough that I dig it. Especially Killer Croc here with the snapping turtle looking mouth, and then we got King Shark with the boxing gloves. If I was more of a DC guy, could totally get all of these. And Swamp Thing just looks generally really cool. He's one of those characters you can make look big and monstrous and grotesque, and it still just looks like Swamp Thing. Now this is something that's always funny with Forbidden Planet in London. They've got their sale section, boxes that are damaged, things that they can knock the price down a bit. But none of it's really reduced very much. It's like, oh, it's down from $20 to 19. I'm like, oh wow, you shouldn't have. The Indiana Jones figures. Remember those? I guess they lasted longer than the NBA figures. What were they called? What was the line? Hasbro's NBA, was it starting lineup? It should have been called finishing lineup. Yeah, that wasn't long for this world. Gotta say, the white Darth Vader, I actually really like the look of it. Just the aesthetics. It's pretty, I think. It's a cool looking figure. I wouldn't mind reading that Elseworlds alternate universe story in which that's set. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of great stuff in this sale section. There rarely ever is, to be honest. I thought the Toxic Crusaders figure was kind of interesting, just because it's kind of fun to see how they've perfectly recreated this proper old school children's toy. It's nice to see how manufacturers will do that sometimes. Then, I mean, look at this. $29.99 for Sergeant Rock. 30 quid. That ain't a discount. I'm sorry. Then we got kind of like the Hot Topic section of Forbidden Planet, where it's going to be the things like Wednesday and Beetlejuice and, of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas. All the stuff that the girls in stripy tights would like. And, hey, more power to you. It's funny to see how many different versions and iterations there are of Beetlejuice. I forgot we had the cartoon in the 90s as well. Was it 90s or late 80s? Either way, it's amazing that 30 years later, if not more than that, geez, 35 years later, Beetlejuice is still going strong as a franchise. I like that it's withstood the test of time. Similar to Nightmare Before Christmas, that's just always going to have merch on the shelf. Then we got the little Japanese section, so I felt right at home. We got the Godzilla figures. I still need like my quintessential Godzilla figure, but I don't have one. It's either not good enough, or it's so good that it's way too expensive. I'll find that Godzilla sweet spot one of these days. This guy on screen, that's not it. And we got some Dragon Ball Z as well. Again, I keep saying, oh, maybe one day I'll get a Dragon Ball Z figure. I won't. If I was going to, I would have by now. I think we all know that. But I'll still say, oh, maybe this one. These aren't the SH Figure Arts ones, though. You can see they're a lot cheaper. So, if I was going to get a Dragon Ball Z figure, it would probably make more sense to get one of the cheaper ones. What I won't be picking up is any of these characters. Killer clowns from outer space. Who wants this on their shelf? I mean, it looks like an amazing action figure, but no, I would rather, sleep comfortably at night than have to lie there waiting for this thing to come alive and murder me. No, absolutely not. I'm not a horror figure guy. I'm a horror movie guy. but not horror figures. Mattel, Motu figures. This, again, gives you a little peep into what Mattel can do with the DC license. This was a surprise, seeing G.I. Joe figures. Because the last time I was in the UK kind of zeitgeist, I remember hearing that retail stores weren't going to be stocking G.I. Joe, that you could only get G.I. Joe through Hasbro Pulse. So I'm not sure what's changed, but it's nice to see these guys on the shelves. Not a huge amount of them, though. I got to admit, if they had Road Pig, I probably would have taken him home with me. That guy just looks like so much fun. Rawhide is kind of cool. Is that his name? Or is that the name of the warthog? Anyway, I thought he looked cool, but I don't need him. But the Steel Corps Commander and Twilight Guard, they look badass. So cool. And that's the problem. That's why I stopped buying G.I. Joe, because there was just too much stuff that I wanted. Transformers mug, I could always be tempted. YOLO Park. I didn't think we'd be seeing YOLO Park in the UK. I didn't know they would be so easy to get hold of. They don't have Prime and Megatron, which again is a good thing because I don't need the temptation. Starscream, though, would have been kind of nice. But they were reasonably cheap as well. I think $30. And yeah, just another, speaking of $30, 31 pounds for Night Creeper. That's... Why did we choose such an expensive hobby, folks? Help me out here. Now, this was a real surprise. The Motu Ninja Turtles mashups. When I was reporting on the figures, just looking at the pictures, I was underwhelmed. I wasn't really impressed. I was like, these just look like kids' toys. Heaven forbid. Any version of Super Shredder is going to hit me right in the nostalgic feels. And this, again, like to keep him in box... Money and space, man. Money and space. I'd be so tempted to pick up that Super Shredder because I always loved that design. I was always fascinated by it as a kid because in the movie, you only saw it so fleetingly. So I was like, oh, what does it look like? And now we've got all the awesome action figures of it. Prime looks good, but I still resent the fact that the Michael Bay movies gave this overly designed look for Transformers. The Beast ones and Bumblebee, they're better, but there's still some damage there. Speaking of damage, Transformers 1, one of the most awesome movies I've seen over the last year, ruined by a terrible marketing campaign that made it look like a random kids movie. It wasn't. It was great. Go see it if you haven't. Blue Grimlock, I need to know the story. Why is Grimlock blue? Is this a redo of a like 1980s figure like Generation 2? I get the feeling it is, isn't it? It feels very Generation 2. And then, what did he say his name was? Galvatron. I love all the movie stuff. Again, the only reason I don't buy one of them is because I'll buy all of them. And just really randomly, I thought this Cosmo looked great. Because he was such a basic figure back in the 80s. Like the G1 figure is just like, boop, like two or three pieces. It's very, very standard. Whereas seeing him more like fleshed out and realized in modern tech, it's really cool. Then we have Fat Optimus Prime, which I think is because it's an auto-converting transformer. So you can imagine the disappointment of a child who's like, hey, Mum, can we get the RoboSen converting Optimus Prime? And she's like, no, son, we have the converting Optimus Prime at home. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy either. I was tempted to get these badges. we don't need no stinking badges. I thought they looked great. And especially because they've got the battle damage of the 86 movie. Look, I was about to grab this Gamorrean guard and then, whoop, please do not take items from these shelves. They weren't expecting a lanky 6'3" doofus to turn up and not read the sign. But when I did, I behaved. Besides, they've got one right there. And actually, the Gamorrean guard, I think, looks wicked. Love the soft goods. Love all the paint detail. Because it's got lovely shading and just... It's a beautiful figure. And again, when I was buying like loads of stuff, almost like I had a dopamine addiction, I would have happily got one of those Gamorrean guards just to put in a sword and sorcery kind of display. Because he'd totally go as like a Conan type villain. That Darth just looks great. I don't know if it's the same mold as the white one or not. I'm not a Black Series expert. So you're like, Dave, you don't need to tell me that you're not an expert. We know. And this dude, is this Savage Oprah's? Yeah, there you go. I got that right at least. One thing that the Phantom Menace did that was really good was just introducing the world to the Darth Maul species. Can't remember what they're called, but it's given us so many more opportunities for cool, badass, tattooed, horn-headed people. And I like that. Similar to the Mandalorians, like the one character of Boba Fett has spawned all these awesome looking Mandalorian characters. Once you've got a design, then everything else can be an iteration on it. Like a badass design is a badass design, and then you can put whatever frills and bells and whistles on that you want. Jedi are no match for droid deckers. I do think the actual robots and mechs from the Star Wars line look great. Same with the combat droids, like this guy. Lord help you if you're an army builder of these, because I can only imagine how expensive that's going to get. That's going to rack up real quick, but dude, they must look pretty cool. Just like Hydra agents or AIM agents for us Marvel Legends fans. Then we've got all these Acolyte figures on the shelves, which are taking up a lot of real estate. I do wonder how well they sell compared to the more mainline or mainstream figures, because it's funny, there was such a negative media, such a negative consensus about the Acolyte, but also that's kind of what you get fed on your stream. I do wonder how many genuine Star Wars fans actually really enjoyed it. You know, we're not getting season 2, so I guess not that many people watched it, but I don't know. I'm sure that there are plenty of fans out there who did enjoy it. And there's Chewie, and I'll always recognize Return of the Jedi Chewie, because he's got more of the side parting curtains boy band kind of hairstyle. Always thought that was kind of funny. It's like, Chewie, when did you grow out your hair like that between Empire and Jedi? Little WWE section, and again, same as I said before, Mattel showing what they can do. If you got Superman, Batman, Justice League type figures like the WWE Ultimates figures, with the heads, the hands, the soft goods, the accessories, whoo doggy. I think just as a journalist, since it is my responsibility to do so, when Mattel do bring out their first wave of DC figures, I mean, I'm going to have to get them. I'm going to have to get them just so I can do the reviews and be a part of the conversation. And me being me, I'll probably sell them afterwards, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what we get. The Japanese Edo samurai style Star Wars figures, they're always so gorgeous. Man, I'd love to see a live action version of that. I know we've kind of got animated versions with the compilation shows that are on Disney Plus. I'd love to see that in live action. Some of these statues really pretty. I totally dig some of those. But you know me, I was never a big statue guy, so easier to walk away from. Then some of the more high end Transformers over here, Grimlock and Wheelie. This is recreating the Call of the Primitives, I think, episodes. Super 7, people are mixed on Super 7, but I do like how genuine, authentic they are with the old school style. Bludgeon was always a favourite of mine. It's funny that they've got these pretender shells. That was the gimmick with Transformers for this line. Pretender shells, so they can disguise themselves. But his pretender shell is a skeleton samurai. Who are you trying to fool? With what? Don't worry, I will blend in with the other skeleton samurais. I think you misunderstood the assignment there, Bludgeon. Also, is that Power Master Prime we just saw? Because that's a big staple of my 80s childhood. It blew my mind as a kid when we got Generation 2 of the Transformers, and I was like, what is this Optimus Prime? Why does he look so different? He's got this big chest and a motor, and what is going on? I still remember that childlike wonder of seeing the new generation of Transformers and then being a little intimidated by them, because I was like, this isn't what I grew up with. I'm still that crotchety old man to this day. I'm like, this isn't what I'm used to. I don't like it. What I do like are some of these Batmobiles, though. They're nicely done. And you got the Batman statue. Hey, it's the Snyderverse. So it's not a statue, actually. That's a figure. Maybe Beast Kingdom? I'm not sure. And the one-to-one replica utility belt. It's funny, but it reminds me of the Simpsons episode where comic book guy goes to return his belt because it's ridiculous that a authentic comic book belt would be expected to fit the girth of a comic book fan. The Batmobiles from McFarlane, gorgeous. Again, really good stuff. Todd, we rag on you all the time, man, but the vehicles, mechs, and monsters, absolutely crushing it. The animated one looks gorgeous as well. Beautiful, streamlined, smooth lines, real good stuff. We will miss elements of Todd McFarlane's DC Multiverse line when they're gone. Hopefully Mattel will fill the void successfully. Some more statues there. Ellie from The Last of Us. Need to watch Last of Us Season 2. I'll get onto that. Got some Monster Hunter things there. Is that Figma? Figma, is that God of War or something else? I get a little spotty with my video game stuff. Now these, though, these Gremlins 2 figures, if they did the actual Gremlins as opposed to the Mogwais, my wallet would be in big trouble. I got a huge nostalgic kick specifically for Gremlins 2. The first Gremlins still kind of creeps me out a little bit, but the more wacky Gremlins 2, I love it. I love it so much. We got some 1/6 scale Final Fantasy going on here. I think it might be play arts, but I'm not 100% sure. And hey, look, you're just coming here for a little banter. You're not here for the stone cold facts, or else you'd be in big trouble. Spacebound Usagi Yojimbo. That's kind of fun, though. The NECA TMNT is another one of those favorite lines that I don't collect, but I do appreciate them from afar, especially the Mirage ones. Looking at these turtles here, you got Leonardo and Raphael. They're just so beautiful. Man, they're just gorgeous. The foot soldier's great as well. Big fan over here. And then we got these old school, funny WWE figures. I'm not sure what they're... I mean, I guess they must be based on like old 1980s figures. That's outside my wheelhouse. Tatanka, a staple of the early 90s. He had like one of the longest undefeated streaks for the longest time, and he wasn't that good of a wrestler. They just went, no, undefeated streak for you. And then one of my favorites, the Big Boss Man. If you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better read the signs, respect the law and order, use of hard time. Love Ray trailer. All right, the last section now of Forbidden Planet. We're going to go over to the display cabinet. This is what you see when you first come in. But I was coming in with a whole bunch of people. They opened the doors at 12 o'clock and there was a lot of folks. So I thought, you know what? I'll come back here. This is where you're going to get all your hot toys. I see they got some Mondo as well. Hadn't seen that before. The Mondo Bane looks kind of fun. It's not something I would want. I find when you've got this animated style, once you go to like 1/6 scale, it looks a bit too plain, a bit too basic. But I appreciate the look for what it is. The ridiculous, garish, neon-colored clown, for whatever reason, I don't hate it. I kind of like it just for how bonkers and wacky and colorful it is. Got some of the more highfalutin gold label McFarlane multiverse figures there. And then going up here, we've got, the Magneto mask. I actually love that. The Magneto mask and the Doctor Doom mask. Phew, I could get those. And sensational Spider-Man Ben Reilly Marvel Select bust. If I was feeling froggy, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if I was feeling froggy, I would jump on that. But $140, I think it is, yeah. $140. I love you, Ben, but also I don't love the mask design very much. The way they've done the eyes, I didn't bond with it. That $20.99 Spider-Man, though, it looks the tits. It looks great. I love that. And the Mondo Cyclops, I kind of like with Bane. Once you go animated, if the scale is too big, I think they just look a bit too plain. So I'm not swayed by those. But then we've got some MCU Hot Toys. That's where Hot Toys really come into their own. That's where 1/6 scale really does look the business. It pays off. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Even the Christmas-themed one, because, hey, if for the collector who has everything, the zombie stormtrooper from Ahsoka, I thought it's a wicked concept, and I really love it. Some people say that stormtroopers are like too much like zombies, this faceless horde. It's like putting a hat on a hat. I disagree. I think zombie stormtrooper is a really fun subversion of what you're familiar with. Then also, the Stormtrooper dude, I don't know what their name is, but with that like Roman face mask, that statuesque kind of like face mask, so creepy, really wicked. There are some cool designs from the Disney Plus shows. I give a lot of credit. Even Grogu in his little mech. I think is adorable. And finally, that's just how we end it there with the Beastie Boys sabotage figures. And folks, that does it. For my walkthrough of Forbidden Planet after 2 years, it was good to be back and amazing that I didn't spend any money either. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little random shop tour. Let me know if you did, and I'll do some more. So until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time.